Welcome to another edition of Sports Junkies, a special baseball edition in the month of December. Why? Because Doug Melvin decided to make a trade. Actually, he's made a couple of trades. See Sparky, Fifer with you from Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. Greg Giesen, who you normally see in the summertime doing these videos from the Racine Journal-Times. So he already made one trade earlier, got rid of Burke Badenhop, and got a lefty pitcher back. A young lefty will be in the minors for the Brewers this year. And now he makes another trade. And trades the Brewers' leadoff hitter, and really maybe their only legitimate leadoff hitter, and Norichika Aoki to Ned Yost and the Kansas City Royals for a guy named Will Smith, a left-handed pitcher, 24 years old. He's had a cup of coffee when he was 22 in 2012, had 16 starts, didn't have a good ERA. Last year pitches more out of the bullpen, pitches much better.
They didn't have a left-hander.
No.
Gorzolani was the only left-hander on the rotation or even in the bullpen. That's all they had. They had to do something. You have young guys coming up into the outfield. Aoki asked to be moved because they knew Davis was going to be brought up and he was going to start playing. You can't sit Braun. As much as people want to trade him, he has no value right now. So he moves over to right. Aoki's out.
I think it's a big, big mistake. And the only reason why I say it's a mistake, and I haven't really seen Will Smith pitch all that much, so I'm not saying he's a bad player. All I'm saying is, if this means Ricky Weeks is your leadoff hitter now, I have a problem with that because he's not a good leadoff hitter. At $11 million a year, I can't see him sitting on the bench behind Scooter Gennett, who is okay at the leadoff spot. I'd be fine with him at the leadoff spot. The other option would be Carlos Gomez. Is Carlos Gomez an option to lead off? I think that takes away the aggressiveness from Carlos Gomez and takes away who he really is and who he's become in the last year and a half. So I don't like that option either. So I'm getting a left-handed pitcher who probably isn't going to be a star by any stretch of the imagination, and now I have a gaping hole in my leadoff spot. I don't know if I like that.
The one positive with Will Smith is he's 24. Mm-hmm. Aoki was in his 30s. He only had 1 year before he went into free agency. You don't really want to pay a lot for a 33, 34-year-old outfielder. You move him now. You get a young left-hander who has some potential. He was a fourth-round draft pick when he was drafted by the, I believe, Angels, traded over to the Royals. You have some potential there. Now, at leadoff, none of those options are good. Gomez would scare me as a leadoff hitter. He is an aggressive swing and miss hitter. He's going to strike out. He doesn't know how to bunt. Jarvis and I talked about it last year. He's speed, he's power, he wants to be that five-tool guy. He's shown flashes of it last year. He had trouble in the second half, and he wants to power up all the time. Okay, you've shown you can do that, but your leadoff hitter's got to bunt. He's got to use his speed to get on base. He's got to move around the bases. He's got to steal bases.
Right.
He can steal bases, but he can't get on to first. He doesn't walk. These are all scary things with him. Ricky, since he's injured his wrist, has not been the player that he ever was before. And I don't know that he's ever going to get back to that point. And that being the case, I don't feel comfortable with him there either.
No. So the leadoff position obviously is an issue. The other issue is right now, if you look at this lineup, if Corey Hart is your first baseman, you have no left-handed bat in this lineup. I mean, you're all right-handed throughout the lineup.
I have no idea who the first baseman. I mean, you can't depend on Corey Hart being there. He's a free agent.
Well, I mean, there was talk that they may have interest in Logan Morrison. No, I'm not a big fan of that either. Hunter Morris fell out of favor last year in AAA. He didn't have a good year.
I can see a lot more potential with Lomo than anybody else that they have considered. Corey Hart, I don't know that you can trust him after the last few years. He's an injury waiting to happen, and you hope that doesn't happen.
Well, Corey Hart is, for me, he's only getting a one-year deal.
Yeah.
Prove yourself and then go get your big contract next year. You do it in a bandbox, Miller Park, put up some numbers like you normally do, and we're fine. And that lineup then is really good outside of the leadoff spot.
Do you have Corey Hart lead off like he's done in the past? If you bring him back.
I haven't thought about that, to be honest with you. It has not crossed my mind. I guess that probably I would rather have that option than the other two.
It's better than Weeks. It's better than Gomez. Yes. I'm not saying it's a great option.
Yes.
And if you brought in Logan Morrison, he's not a leadoff hitter.
No.
And that's something you're going to have to do. First base was terrible. It was epically awful last year. Yeah. No matter what you do, that's not going to be your leadoff hitter unless it's Corey Hart, and I don't think you necessarily want to play with that again.
Do you, if you're looking at it from Doug Melvin's standpoint, are you looking at first base and saying, I have to find a left-handed bat for that lineup, or does that not matter to you?
I want to find the best player available and get that in there.
So it doesn't matter if he's left-handed or not?
If he is, that's a bonus. You know, the Rockies just got Justin Morneau.
Yep.
That would have been a nice left-handed piece. Put in a nice bandbox like Miller Park. Yep. Get him away from target field where home runs go to die. Yep. He may have looked like the player he was when he was an MVP.
Yep.
Or not to that level, but at least closer. He went to the Rockies. Good for him. That's great. Who do they got? Who are they going to go after? And you know what? You can talk about Aoki and that move. All right, I can live with that. I wish you could have gotten more, but you know what? That's the way that goes. Moving Badenhop, sure, whatever. My concern is what's happening at first.
Right.
Because really, that's your offense right there.
That's the next big question. That is a special edition of Talking Brewers Baseball here on Sports Junkies. He's Greg Giesen of the Racine Journal-Times. I'm Steve Sparky, Fifer from the Wendy's Big Show on Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. Thanks for tuning in here at RacineSportsZone.com.